Welcome to Who Killed Ngor. In late 1995, the suspect we call Larry threatened Ngor's life. Ngor was genuinely frightened, enough so that he immediately went into hiding. Larry is a Chinese-born Singaporean, so the question I've been asking myself is, what did Ngor know about Larry? Was he in a triad? We know that when he went back to Cambodia, Ngor had big ambitions for his humanitarian work and in business, but he kept running into roadblocks. We also know that he had debts at the time of his death, according to friends. Did Ngor borrow money from shady people? Was Larry in a triad or close to organized crime figures? And is there a triad with a track record of killing people in the United States? That's when I came across another murder, the assassination of Henry Liu by a triad called United Bamboo, or the Bamboo Union. This is a brief introductory episode before we do a deeper dive into one of the most entrenched organized crime groups operating in Cambodia during Ngor's 1990s timeframe. It's a complicated subject, and this was new territory for me, so I'm going to try to break it down the best I can. My name is Patricia Nunan, and this is Who Killed Ngor. So I guess my first question would be, how would you characterize the Bamboo Union as an organization?
So something like a mafia.
That's Chang An Lo, also known as White Wolf. He's a senior member of the Bamboo Union, a triad based in Taiwan. You're going to be hearing more from him as we go along. For the moment, let's go back to 1984. Henry Liu was a Taiwanese-American writer living with his family in Daly City outside San Francisco. He was actually a political dissident in exile. At the time, Taiwan was ruled by the political party, the Kuomintang, or the KMT. They were authoritarian. In fact, the KMT was so brutal that its decades in power are referred to as the White Terror. Liu was a journalist, a writer, and a vocal critic of the KMT. Because of that, he had to flee.
Yeah, so there are a number of political assassinations during the authoritarian period, about which there's still a lot of murky details.
This is Brian Hugh, a Taiwanese-American journalist based in Taipei. He's the editor of an online news site called New Bloom.
For the Henry Liu case, by comparison, there's much more details known, but it's a case in which it seems as though the authoritarian government really overstepped by killing an American citizen on American soil, and that got the U.S. involved, and they were not happy.
In San Francisco, Liu ran a souvenir shop on Fisherman's Wharf. He kept writing about Taiwanese politics and the KMT in the Chinese language press. That kept pissing people off. So Liu was assassinated. It was October 1984, and he was 51 years old. The killing became an international incident. It sent shockwaves through the U.S. government over the question of how entrenched Asian organized crime was within the U.S. What caught my eye was that Henry Liu was stalked in his garage and shot to death. The three men who carried out the plot were from the Bamboo Union.
So something like a mafia.
Something like a mafia.
Yeah.
Does that make you the head? My heart skipped a beat when I read about Henry Liu. That's two prominent Asian Americans, Ngor and Henry Liu, gunned down at home, where they parked their cars, in California, about a dozen years apart. In both cases, neighbors noticed strangers staking out the area ahead of the killings. It turns out Henry Liu was not the only Taiwanese assassination plot involving U.S. residents. In 2007, a Hong Kong movie star named Wang Yu publicly outed himself as a Bamboo Union member in an interview with the Taipei Times. He also went by the name Jimmy Wong. Wang said that in the 1980s, the KMT hired him to kill a Taiwanese dissident living in California, this time in Los Angeles. The target was yet another opposition figure, but that plot was aborted. White Wolf confirmed a second assassination plot on U.S. soil in a 1985 interview he did with 60 Minutes, the U.S. television news program. He didn't specify, but that could be the plot that Wang Yu was talking about. So that's 2 Bamboo Union plots on U.S. soil. The man who orchestrated the Henry Liu assassination was named Henry Liu. He's a revered spiritual leader of the Bamboo Union even today. Henry Liu ended up going to prison in Taiwan for the Liu assassination. We'll get into details in the next episode. But here, my heart skipped another beat. After he got out of prison, Henry Liu moved to Cambodia in 1996. Ngor was murdered in a way similar to Henry Liu in California, where he parked. And that same year, Liu's assassin moved to Cambodia, where Ngor was working. This is getting weird. To me, there's no way the revered spiritual leader of a major triad goes to a place like Cambodia cold. He'd only go somewhere that the Bamboo Union already had a network of support, and that network would have been in place when Ngor was in Phnom Penh, awash in financial problems. As I've said, when Cambodia threw open its doors in the 1990s, it wasn't just the press, the diplomats, the aid community, and legit foreign investors who flooded in. So too did organized crime. The KMT had no reason to kill Hang Ngor. But could the Bamboo Union be freelancing? Could I use the Henry Liu case to figure out what happened to Ngor? It's a pretty thin thread at which to pull. 2 prominent Asian Americans killed where they park, Liu in San Francisco and Ngor in Los Angeles. This is all just circumstantial, and it could all just be coincidence. But at this point, Hang Ngor's murder was also a 28-year-old cold case, and the coincidences were stacking up. So in 2024, I went to Taiwan. My name is Patricia Nunan, and this is Who Killed Hang Ngor? If you think you have something to contribute to the investigation, please get in touch at whokilledhangngor@gmail.com. I'm also on Telegram as MP Nunan. If you'd like to support the investigation, there's a donation button on the webpage at whokilledhangngor.com. Thank you for listening. There's more on the Bamboo Union in my upcoming episodes.